It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day, and we are here at Janie's in Chula Vista to do a maintenance. Clearly it's been a while, hasn't it? Wow, I mean, it's a, what did someone call it in a video recently? An embarrassment of riches. Yes, just on crack. These plants are wild and woolly and wonderful, but when you really look closely, you can see where a whip and a chair needs to be applied in certain places. There are some things that we won't be touching, like look at this ruchia, how it's growing around this little rock. I mean, that's just poetic, isn't it? And the Aluaudia procera is just doing the funniest things. She just loves watching it to see where this is going to go next. You can see that there are some weeds. We've got some bloomed out aeoniums. This Portulacaria afra needs to be, I don't even know what's under there at this point. So you see what I mean? When you really get to looking, it's like, oh yeah, okay, I see. Over here, the agave colorata. I still like these in this garden because the blue is just so spectacular, but its proximity to this Joe Hoke isn't bueno. We need to move it, make some edits. We've also had an issue with her Cameronii that I had in this garden, all got very sick and are goners. Don't know why, but they are not salvageable. Let's see, over on this side, and how fun, a microclimate. This is West Chula Vista. The ocean is just probably 5 or 6 miles as the bird flies due west, and the breezes are constant here. But it does get hammered by the sun, as you can see. This area where we had some softer tapestry plants is clearly, had struggled. She had to remove some things. This crassula mint truffles is overgrown and needs to be reset. So I am just going to tighten this area all back up. The superbum, the Graptopetalum superbum, love it here. She has got some magnificent stands. They're everywhere, and they're wonderful. But yeah, it's so funny, to see the evolution of design, too. This is a garden where I was still using the Creva and the Fireglass and the Wet Look 2000. Look at this. Gorgeous. But needs tightened up, doesn't it? So I'm going to honor that because it's a really small space. So Greg will be coming back to with some Creva and some more Wet Look. And we'll tighten up and refresh all the areas of Creva. We have got Miguel. Oh boy, who doesn't have this happening in your garden? So despite the weed barrier fabric that is underneath the flagstone pathway, some Bermuda grass has reared its ugly head. So rather than try to pick out in between the Antisyphilitica, Miguel is going to dig the whole thing out, remove the Bermuda by the roots, and then reset the Antisyphilitica once all the grass has been removed. Then over here, Gordon is removing pups from the Mediopicta alba. There's another one right here. Oh, I know he is, but I'm just showing folks. Yeah, so we like this as a single specimen. We're not loving it, pupping all over the place in this small garden. There was also something not very cute right here, some blue elf that just didn't look terribly great. Her Tongaensis is also suffering, from that blight. But this is super common in this plant. And it's mostly cosmetic and nothing to be terribly concerned about. Check out the blooms. This is on this, what is this, a Trichoceras?
Sounds right.
It sounds right, doesn't it? Sounds like I know what I'm talking about, but look at those yellow flowers. She adores this plant right here. She loves how the jade is kind of protecting it. So she doesn't want us to move it or do anything with it, so we won't. We've got Luke over here removing a very ill aloe. Check this out. Yeah, just all of this vascular damage. So this plant is going to be removed from the garden. Now the neighbor didn't get affected at all. This phenomenal stand of aloe, all we're going to do to it at our client's request is remove dead bloom spikes. That's it. We're not going to lace it or do anything else. Back here, the neighbors just recently put up this fence, and now it's really difficult for her to get back here and work. So once this comes out, obviously we'll be weeding and picking up detritus. We'll pull out this ruticope too because I see aloe mite on it right here. There's some aloe mite there, so we'll get rid of that, you know, and just open this space up for her. Maybe reset some rock or put something else in here that's not got thorns so that she can easily maneuver through this area. So yeah, that's our day. I love these kind of maintenances because the garden ends up looking 100% better than it did when we installed it, because everything is so mature. So it's just going to be absolutely stunning. So glad you are here to help us with this. Right? I mean, we are about halfway there. I just love these plants. The way you can dig them out, move them around, you know, do whatever you want. This little podotorum was crammed up way too high. We reset this. The guys meticulously cleaned all the weeds and detritus and pulled some plants out back here for better accessibility. We'll be restaging and reworking the rubble rock. We got Hannah started working with the Superbum. You know, these things were just so leggy. So she cut and reset, and that's going to continue, you know, for pops of purple hither and there. You know, these crassulas, you know, they're trunking, you know, they're looking a little leggy, but I really like the maturity. I like the height. You know, like this one over here, it's got some age on it. I didn't want everything to just be back to one dimension. So, yeah, and they do shade some of the plants that are beneath them. So this bloomed out jaguar agave, we moved up underneath the crassula, and that is just beautifully contrasted. My little talavera saguaro was completely hidden, got that restaged, took out a lot of dead leaves off of the tongaensis, some aloes that had mite we were able to remove, you know, just diseased or ugly plants, Bermuda grass. Look at how we did, how much better this looks. Limbing it up and cleaning off so many of those diseased leaves, exposing all that beautiful branching. This we opened up here. This millii was crammed in next to this barrel cactus, so we moved it to its own spot. That's flagged because we did nick some irrigation for Greg to fix. And this quadricolor, look how much better she looks on her own. And like I said, I'm going to be reworking all this rubble rock too, so that it makes sense. Got some cute little Superbum right there. Gordon made a big change over here with this colorata. There was a big hunk of portulacaria here, and it was just too prime a real estate for just portulacaria. So we had 2 extra colorata that we pulled out of the garden. This seemed like a really good home for one. We also swapped out the cream spike for the Herida. The cream spike was just too repetitious right here against the Mediopicta. Yes, so we moved the Harita in its place. We're gonna find some low profile things to tuck up underneath this jade. And yeah, this just looks so much better right here. So well showcased. And this, oh my gosh, we took so much crap out of this area around the Aluaudia. It just looks so much better. I took a bunch of branches off this too. Can you even tell? Probably not. Limbed up this Portulacaria considerably. This Graptopetalum hybrid, it's not superbum, it's not ghosty, I'm not sure. We're gonna try to plant that and tuck that in for some color and texture right there. This is just magic, just the way it is. This little needle and strings against that Crassula platyphylla. And I mean, seriously, gosh darn it, that purple cotyledon. Woo-wee. So, you know, that's the thing. You just kind of have to know rocks, repetition, restraint. You got to know, you know, what to do and where and how to do it. I also made a decision to pretty much leave this stand of plant material alone because it just frames out that driftwood so beautifully. It's just so stunning. And then Miguel also limbed up the Dazzlerian longissimum, which just opened that up underneath it significantly. Over here, on driveway side, we're still working. You can see that Luke, he's also going to take a trench shovel or that trowel, and he's going to working at getting out this Bermuda grass by the roots right there. Then he's going to soften the soil, and he's going to cut and reset these superbum that were so leggy right here. Greg is going to be coming with rock. So, you know, we don't have to pull every single leaf, just get the worst of it. And then we'll sprinkle some more top dressing rock on top. Nate has planted this beautiful Echeveria Sahara. This was in a pot, and the client said, put it in the garden if you can find a spot for it. And that's a neat little kind of shady protected area that I thought would be perfect for that little pop of color. I also, rather than taking all of this orbiculata out, I just limbed it up off of the rock. Because, yeah, I like it. I like the way it looks. So I let that ride. There's so many spider webs. You know, moving some Aeonium kiwis around. Oh, I found these crests in a pot. Pop those in right there. And now I'm working on finding plant material, which is no problem here at Collector Jane's. This Agavoides is going to go right here, which is why I have the pot sitting there.
It even looks good in the pot.
Yeah, it even looks good in the pot. I'm toying with the idea. If I leave it in the pot, it won't get watered. So thus taking it out of the pot. I still need to pull in, you know, some tapestry type things or some more plant material in this area here. We pulled more plant material in here to connect this, all of these dots after we had yanked out some dead Cameronii and some other things. This Quichua Con's a little lost here, but I still like it. So I'm gonna let that ride. Yeah, so woo-wee, it is, you know, it's everything I dreamed it would be and more. What a difference a day and a dream team makes. With the help of Hannah and Luke and Nate and Miguel and Gordon and Greg, we just whipped this right on into shape. You can see that Greg is applying the Glaze and Seal Wet Look 2000. Haven't done this in a minute because I don't really mess with the Creva and the Fireglass anymore. But this garden has such a small profile and she loves it. So, you know, it was no problem to bring in a couple of bags and just tighten it up with a little more Fireglass. Yeah, wow. So yes, Hannah's gonna move on through the garden. You know, I talk a lot about when I do an installation, and this one's almost 4 years old. We did it 4 years ago, August. It is now, you know, the end of June. So almost 4 years. I always say, oh, it's so pretty and cute, but just wait, you know? Well, this is the just wait. When things have had 4 years to mature, and we're able to groom and clean and lace and treat systemically for aloe mite and snout weevil, remove plants that are suffering. We did have some aloe mite that we on the rudicopes, which is not uncommon. You know, so we got rid of those. And now everything is just so dialed in and so healthy. Hannah, did you show them here where we took out the portulacaria? Did we already talk about that? Yeah, but Gordon planted some resinifera. That'll be job security, right guys, in a few years. But yeah, this corner was prime real estate. Super happy with it. We also added a Myrtillo cactus crest underneath this Picarnia recurvata that is giving me life right now. I just love it so much. That looks so good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we just tightened up with the Creva. Miguel went through very meticulously and, you know, reapplied. And I sprinkled some fresh fiberglass on it, and then Greg came through with the Wet Look 2000. It creates a permeable seal, meaning that you can run a blower over this. If you step on it, it'll crack. But as long as you're not stepping on it, it will stay put for a really, really long time. The guys, I can't get over how well the Rushi is doing in this garden. So pretty. We haven't really looked over there yet. Yeah, we did move the Podatorum here, planted a couple of more Echeveria where they would get some protection from the hottest part of the sun. I found some cute little crests that I planted and tucked up underneath the jades. And I think it was Miguel, wasn't it, that finished this off and just made this beautiful reworked this beautiful tapestry area. We did plant one quadricolor pup over here just for texture. The rest of them, Gordon is taking to the master gardeners. They're going to have their big plant sale. When's the plant sale, Gordon?
September.
In September. Yes, at Balboa Park. So keep your eyes open for the Master Gardener plant sale. It's a really big, fun deal. So yes, I mean, we did cut back a lot of the portulacaria. A few of them we took out. We also transplanted one of the anti-syphiliticas right here, which is giving, you know, tremendous texture through the space. So, you know, Jane's good. She's good for at least another year to, you know, really enjoy this 4-year-old garden that has just really come into itself. So this has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity reporting from Chula Vista with maintenance 4 years in and your succulent tip of the day. Bye guys.